the Monster Mash! It's big Monster Kenobi coming at you! I don't really have any jokes to make about monsters. I guess the monsters are the friends we made all along. All Tron players are monsters. Anyway, this is Black Green Monsters. Basically, I saw Strictly Better MTG talking about a mono green deck that he'd been playing that he thought was really good on Twitter. And I was like, cool, some of those cards look cool and I haven't played with them yet, like Garrick's Harbinger. I actually completely blanked this card was any good. I mean, firstly, it feels and sounds like it should be in a intro pack and be absolute fucking garbage. You know all the cards that tutor for other Planeswalker, they tutor for the Planeswalker in their name, right? So it'd be like Teferi's arsehole liquor, and it'll chew up the shit Teferi, the shit Teferi from the intro deck. I thought that was this for Garrick. Turns out it's actually a 4/3 for 3 with hexproof from black, which is pretty relevant against black removal these days. And it also, when it hits players, you look at the top 4 cards if its power is 4, more if its power is higher, cards of your library, and you get to pick a Garrick Planeswalker card or creature from among them and put them into your hand. Sometimes it whiffs, sometimes it doesn't, but I want to play with some of them. So I started playing, like, kind of an amalgamation of just sticking 4 Thoughtseize in the deck that Strictly Better MTG was playing, that Dev was playing. And then over time I was like, actually, you know what? I want more black cards. So I end up with like a copy of Heartless Act, 2 copies of Assassin's Trophy, a Pelucranos, a Vraska, 2 Gitrog Monster because I fucking love Gitrog Monster, 1 Maelstrom Pulse and 1 Garrick, and then the creme de la creme, the top of the curve, if you will, is Massacre Worm. Well, actually, the top of the curve is Ugin, but you know, that's just any deck that ramps in green. Ugin, am I right? Well, some great. But Massacre Worm is great right now because in the historic ladder, I ground from gold to platinum pretty quickly with elves, and then I started to lose a lot to Field of the Dead decks where I could never, I couldn't make elves at the rate that I made zombies. Perhaps I had better payoffs in terms of like Create Hoof and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe my elves deck sucks. Maybe I'm fucking shit. Who knows? But the point is, there's a lot of Field of the Dead players, and I noticed there were also quite a few elves players and quite a few goblins players. Now, the fun thing about all these things, barring when they get loaded up the arsehole, is that they all have creatures that are relatively small. And Massacre Worm, well, it loves to chew on small creatures and spit them out into the mouths of its children to feed them, to give them sustenance. Also, it murders people, dead. It massacres them, some might say. If you aren't aware of Massacre Worm, it's a card from... It's from the Scars of Lara, not Scars of Lara, the Scars of Mirrodin Block. I think it's from Mirrodin Besieged. I could look it up, I'm not going to. But it was reprinted in M21. And here it is, but in all its extended border glory. It gives all creatures your opponent controls, not all creatures your opponent controls -2/-2, so it can wrath a load of stuff out of the way. But more importantly, for every creature that dies while this is in play, that player loses 2 life. Opponents, sorry, not players, opponents. So yeah, if they've got 12 zombies in play, they're going to take, what's 12 times 2? 24! They're going to take 24 damage. Importantly, not damage, life loss. It cannot be prevented by damage prevention effects. I am filming this intro after the games, so that bit I just said there about damage prevention, that was some ominous foreshadowing. So keep that in mind. But honestly, as you go into the next couple of games, they're just the 3 or 4 games that I played in a row. I'm not going to reorder them like I sometimes do to create a better narrative. They're going to be in a row as they were. Because, well, it's interesting that they were in a row. Anyway, this is Black Green Monsters. The other part of the deck, I guess, is that we're trying to ramp. So I've got 5 turn 1 mana dorks. I was on 6 with 4 elves and 2 geese. Goosen. What is the plural of goose? Cunts? No, that's swans. Swans are cunts. But either way, I was on 6 mana dorks. And I've gone down, so now the reason I'm on so many the mana dorks that I want to jump from 1 mana to 3 mana and then upwards. That's why we're playing the 1 mana into Cultivates. I was playing the 3 mana Llanowar Elves that draws you a card, but I decided to cut that in the end, because drawing a card and making mana is fine, but it wasn't very exciting. Is the deck perfect? No. Is the deck good? Marginally. I seem to be beating people with it, and it's very fun as well. It's one of those decks where, when I'm playing Elves, or when I'm playing the Muxus variants in Historic right now, they feel relatively linear. You just do what you do, and if you win, you win. If you don't, you don't. And there are choices to be made, especially during the mulligans, and a little bit during deck construction and stuff. But the decks kind of pilot themselves with minimal actual choice lines, okay? I've got even 1 copy of Finale of Devastation in my... not Finale of Devastation, whatever the green one is. Is it Finale of Devastation? Names are hard. I've got the green one in my Elves deck, and even then, I hardly ever cast it, so I don't think I'm making that many choices, unless it's full lethal. So, this deck, I feel, has more choices than that. The sequencing of your spells, the picks you make with Garruk and the lands you sack and drawing cards and how you use your planeswalkers and whether you need to resolve Pelucranos early to fight with it and where do you target your removal, what do you take the Thoughtseize. I feel like the deck is very rewarding for that fact. I like decks that reward you for making decisions and then you consider those decisions gestated, is that what I'm looking for, into successes or wins. Okay? So that's the basis of the self-help book I'm writing. Gestate your Thoughtseize choices into big money. Available at all good bookstores now. In our opening we have everybody's favourite one-drop, Thoughtseize. We also have some copies of Cultivate, so I'm going to keep this. We don't really have much payoff for ramping, but Questing Beast isn't terrible. Drew a one-drop Dork, so that's pretty good. I'm going to pay 2 lives to put Land of White Elves into play. Our opponent's cast Explore after playing a Plains in the Breeding Pool, so it's going to be some Field of Dead deck, right? We're going to Cultivate this turn and Thoughtseize next turn before they can cast Hour of Promise or whatever it is that goes and gets them 2 lands. No land drop from our opponent is interesting. We're going to Thoughtseize them before we cast Questing Beast of Vraska. They do have blue mana up. Is it going to be a negate? It's going to be a Thirst for Meaning. Interesting. If they're missing land drops, it would have made more sense to Thirst for Meaning in their turn to try and hit said land drop. But, you know, I'll take everything I can get. I'm not I'm not good enough to wish my opponents always played perfect. They have 2 unsummons, an Uro, a Luminous Broodmoth, and 2 copies of 9 lives. Huh. I'm going to take the Uro, I think. The great thing about 9 lives is that we can exile it with Ugin. So I'm okay with them having 9 lives, I'm okay with them having the Broodmoth, I'm okay with them having unsummon. I don't want them to cast an Uro next turn, but now they've explored, they will cast an Uro the following turn. And then I guess we just kill it with Vraska. I have cultivated, I've played a Gilded Goose, so I'm going to tick up Vraska and sack off a Swamp. I want to find an Ugin, I think, so that we can deal with these 9 lives when they start using them to avoid the pressure from our creatures. Let's see, I'll sacrifice a food instead of a... Ah, okay. We can Thoughtseize them again. Sweet. We'll take 1 copy of their 9 lives. And then pass back. We're going to see an Uro or a Broodmoth from our... I guess I want to go Moth into Uro, so if we kill the Uro it comes back. But then is immediately sacrificed. I've never seen someone bring back an Uro or play an Uro with a Luminous Broodmoth in play before, so I guess we're about to find out. The other thing about 9 lives is that it prevents damage. It doesn't stop the loss of life from a Massacre Worm. Maybe they heard me mention Massacre Worm. Interesting. I'm gonna keep this terrible hand. It's got an 8-drop in it. What am I doing? What the fuck am I doing? So we'll just take a peek. Take a look-see with a Thoughtseize. We'll take a CZ. Another 9 lives player. What the fuck? I'm going to take the Doom Foretold. It seems scarier, somehow. I could be wrong. I have very little experience against the black-white stacks variant of 9 lives. Fuck it, I haven't seen someone playing 9 lives until just now. Although I saw someone with Solemnity in their deck earlier, so I assumed that was a 9 lives deck now, with hindsight. My question was really between both the Ballitus to slow them down this turn, or taking the Doom Foretold for later. Yeah, here we are. Right, let's go Garruk's Harbinger. They will obviously exile it with Banishing Light. We can then destroy the Banishing Light with a Vraska or Assassin's Trophy, hopefully, or a Maelstrom. Do nothing for a turn, which feels pretty bad, honestly. Oh, Agonizing Remorse. I wonder if they'll take Ugin. Yeah, they took Ugin. Ugin's a pretty good answer to the 9 lives, so they kind of have to. Cast Cavalier of Thorns, now we've hit our 5th land drop. Get Rock will be coming up next turn alongside a failed passage for some card draw. We get a Swamp and we put Vraska in our graveyard alongside a Questing Beast and a Cavalier of Thorns. Okay, we've drawn our other Ugin. I'm going to play the Get Rog monster. I'm going to play a Fabled Passage. I'm going to sack that passage and try and draw a card here. Hopefully drawing a land. We want to hit our land drop so we can play this Ugin. Otherwise Get Rog's going to cause us problems. We hit another Fabled Passage, so that's pretty good. I'm going to crack this Fabled Passage, draw another card off Get Rog monster, because Get Rog monster's the fucking best. We draw a land next turn to be able to cast Ugin. We just need to dodge our Thoughtseize or an Agonizing Remorse from our opponent. They block our 5/6 with their 0/4. 6th land from our opponent. We get to see some sort of Planeswalker, some sort of actual threat. Just a Shatter the Sky. Okay, well we drew a card off that. And we get to put a card back in our hand. So I guess we put a Cavalier in our hand or a Questing Beast. I think Questing Beast, because Questing Beast damage can't be prevented by 9 lives, so it seems pretty good. Okay, Garen Brigg. Slam on Ugin. Down tick Ugin to exile all things with CMC 3. I like that Ugin exists as an answer to pretty much everything in the game, right? That seems completely reasonable on an 8-mana Planeswalker. I'm actually only half sarcastic when I'm saying that. I guess an 8-mana Planeswalker should give you game against most things. Okay, it looks like our deck is tailor-made to beat the 9 lives decks. Okay, we're into our next game, and if we're not against 9 lives, I'm going to be hideously disappointed. We're going to keep this. We've got Thoughtseize. And if you haven't noticed, oh my god, no way! Our opponent's name! I am not making this up. I have not doctored this in any way. I have not changed the order of these games. They're called 9 lives. What are the fucking chances? Do we take a look? Take a look. Are they on it? They're not! Oh, the cowards! The fucking cowards! Oh, I'll take that over elves. Oh, they're called 9 life and they're playing elves? I appreciate it, I respect it, but I don't like it. Fuck. Okay, let's go forest here so we can Heartless Act this coming incubation druid. Wow, you can misclick and remove counters instead of destroying. I have yet to do that with Heartless Act on Arena. Okay, that's a cultivate. That's a pretty timely cultivate too. Let's pay 2 life and cultivate the shit out of this board. Ooh, they're using the Jumpstart Elf land. Look, Llanowar Elves and a Visionary. We're going to draw Nugan. We're going to go Forest. Do we slam Gitrog here? Let's go Gitrog. It draws an extra card every turn, but it sacks our lands off, so we get further and further away from Ugin. If we sack our land and draw a Fabled Passage, though, that's pretty gas. That's an Archer, which is 100% going to get pulsed this turn. We're going to sack a Forest, keeping our black sources for Massacre Worm. Oh, I'm so good at this game. And we draw a Thoughtseize. We're going to pulse. No, hang on. Let's Thoughtseize first for perfect information. Now, we'll hit the Lord. Then we'll pulse the Druid. And I guess we'll slap them for 6. Further and further away from Massacre Worm as well, thanks to Gitrog. Gitrog rarely ever backfires on me. Oh, just in general. Like, it's very rare you see someone, like, run out of lands because of how Gitrog works, right? We might be seeing that here. Our opponent's gone Kinnan into Visionary into Dwynen's Elite. Thank God they haven't got a Lord in play. We're going to sack 1 more Forest and we're going to draw some lands this turn. Come on, I believe in you. Oh, yes, Fabled Passage. Oof. Let's go Fabled Passage. Let's sacrifice Fabled Passage and try and draw another land if we can. We did. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's get a Swamp. Let's go Forest. Let's go Cultivate. Let's get a... Oh, I've run out of basic lands. Next turn, though. As long as I don't go double Lord here and murder us. Next turn, we Massacre Worm and murder them. And then we've come full circle to the point that... hang on, no. Shit. I need to draw another land. Because oh, god damn it. Maybe I need to play 1 more basic. We're dead next turn if we don't draw appropriately for Massacre Worm. Right, goodbye, Forest. Come on, 1 more land. 1 more land. Oh! That was the sound of me ejaculating. Here we go. Get fucking massacred, bitch. And I mean that in the most affectionate and positive way possible. Here's all the triggers. Oh, it's like a machine gun. It's like a big worm machine gun. Like a cock firing fun into the air.